Hello, fellow citizens of Metaverse. It's George from Blockchain TXP, and you're listening to the Metaverse Everything series that is released every Fridays. Now, look, guys, one of the reasons and motivation for me to go ahead and start the Metaverse Everything series was cause in 2020, guys. Every second day, I used to see news regarding Metaverse, but what happened in 2023, news regarding Metaverse completely died down, and the number of episodes that were released in 2023 was extremely less. So, in today's episode, I'll actually talk about is the Metaverse dead? Now look guys, because Facebook changed its name from Facebook to Meta, everyone became experts in Metaverse, and I used to see so many posts on LinkedIn talking about Metaverse, but unfortunately guys, lately I'm not seeing any news regarding Metaverse. So in today's episode guys, I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on what did actually go wrong in Metaverse and what is the investor sentiment so far as Metaverse is concerned, and could it be possible for Apple's Vision Pro to go ahead and reignite the flame in Metaverse. So I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that. Now look guys, in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world, on the 10th of this month, a massive news was unveiled, and that was regarding a spot Bitcoin ETF approval news. And what kind of an impact will that have on the price of cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse? I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that. Now listen guys, whether you like Facebook or Meta or not, Meta's impact on Metaverse has definitely been very crucial. So in today's episode, I'll definitely go and touch base on what is going on in Metaverse in 2023 and what are the plans in 2024. And guys, in my Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast, last week I talked about a report on Metaverse that mostly had to do with GCC countries, and that report was actually published by PwC, so I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that. And towards the end of the episode guys, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be revisiting the timeline for mainstream adoption, so we'll definitely go and look at when we can expect mainstream adoption of Metaverse. And like I do in every Metaverse Everything podcast guys, I'm going to be discussing the top 5 Metaverse news from the world and top 5 Metaverse news only from the Emirate of Dubai. Now what I'm going to be doing guys is I'm going to be starting off this particular episode by looking at the top 5 cryptocurrency and blockchain protocol connected to Metaverse, and I'm just going to be looking at the price and I'm going to be looking at the market cap. And what I'm going to very quickly do is guys, I'm going to be looking at these numbers going back to 6 months, and we'll go ahead and check what the future of these protocols are that are connected to Metaverse. So quite a lot to cover guys in today's episode, so let's get started with it right away. Welcome to Metaverse Everything, the ultimate destination for virtual and augmented reality enthusiasts. The Metaverse is a vast and expanding universe of possibility, and in our show we aim to bring you coverage of every aspect of this exciting new frontier. From gaming and entertainment to socializing and work, the Metaverse is changing the way we live and interact with each other. Each week, we will bring you expert guests who will discuss the latest trends and technologies in the augmented and virtual reality industry, and offer practical tips for getting the most out of your Metaverse experience. We'll also explore the social and cultural implication of this rapidly evolving realm and how it's changing the way we communicate and connect with each other. Plus, we'll keep you up to date on the latest Metaverse news from around the world and Dubai and the UAE. Whether you are a seasoned augmented reality or virtual reality enthusiast or just getting started, Metaverse Everything has something for you. Join us as we journey into the Metaverse and discover all it has to offer. From the latest games and apps to the most cutting-edge hardware and software, we'll bring you the inside scoop on everything you need to know to fully immerse yourself in this exciting new world. So tune in and join us on a journey into the Metaverse. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or new to the world of augmented reality and virtual reality, the Metaverse is something for everyone, and we can't wait to share it with you on Metaverse Everything. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the Blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing, and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Shalhoub Group, a luxury retail and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal, guys. They are not just getting into the NFT and Metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT, Metaverse, and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now instead of E, they have replaced it with Web3, and it is the number 3, mates.xyz. And guys, listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again, guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below, you'll get all the information. And listen, guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out. And they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse, and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs, and these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse. Now guys, because the market has changed since the last 6 months, what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be comparing this number with the last 6 months, and I released an episode on the 8th of September 2023, and at that point of time guys, the top 5 cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that were connected to Metaverse was the Sandbox, Axie Infinity, Decentraland, Render and Engine Coin, and at that point of time guys, the market cap was $5.7 billion. But listen guys, because of BlackRock getting into the Bitcoin Spot ETF game, the prices of Bitcoin has increased, and eventually because of that, cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse, that has increased as well. And right now guys, on the 12th of January, the top 5 cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse is ICP, followed by Stacks or STX, Render is at number 3rd, Axie Infinity is at number 4th, and the Sandbox is at number 5th. Now listen to this guys, on the 8th of September 2023, the market cap of cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that were connected to Metaverse was at $5.5 billion, and fast forward to Jan of 2024, the market cap guys is at a staggering $22.9 billion. But here's the thing that has happened guys, I'm looking at this information via CoinMarketCap, and most likely in the last 6 months, there have been quite a lot of new protocols, there have been quite a lot of new projects, a lot of tokens that has been added, and because of that, the market cap has significantly increased by well over 4 times. The price of cryptocurrency tokens hasn't increased, but looks like at least 20 to 40% of new projects and protocols has been added under the umbrella of Metaverse. That is exactly what I think. So the market cap guys of cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse as of now is at $20.9 billion, and if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, it is at $2.32 billion, and this, to be honest guys, is the impact of BlackRock getting into the Bitcoin Spot ETF game, isn't it? Because indirectly it has had a positive impact on cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse. Now let me very quickly run through the top 5 price and market cap, because ICP guys is at number 1, and its price is $12.84, and if you look at its market cap, as of now, it is at $5.8 billion. Stacks or STX guys is at $1.74 billion, and its market cap is almost half of ICP, and as of today, it is at $2.5 billion. Now, very specifically, remember guys, towards the later part of 2023, the number 1 performing protocol connected to Metaverse, its market cap was less than $1 billion, but fast forward to 2024, the market cap has definitely pumped up, isn't it? Now, Render guys is at number 3rd, and the price of its token is 54 cents, and it is currently ranked number 3rd so far as the market cap is concerned, and it is at $1.1 billion. Axie Infinity guys is at number 4th, the price of its token is $8.74, and its market cap is pretty much the same as Render at $1.14 billion. The Sandbox guys is at number 5th, and the price of the token of Sand is 54 cents, and its market cap also is in the $1.1 billion range. Now listen guys, I very specifically remember in January of 2023, when the cryptocurrency market did actually pump up, Decentraland's Mana was the highest gaining cryptocurrency protocol, not just in the Metaverse space, including other cryptocurrency, and it did actually go up by well over 180%. But here's the interesting bit guys, if you were to compare the price of Mana back then, and now it is exactly the same, so it looks like the project is a complete failure, isn't it? And if you look at the user experience guys in Decentraland, it is absolutely horrendous, and one of the most important criteria to judge a particular project or protocol in Metaverse is the user experience. And I've said this thing so many times guys, when you talk about Metaverse, the user experience has to be 10 times better, or the project will not succeed at all. Just switching current existing systems to Metaverse is a recipe for disaster. And guys listen, if you look at plots that are in Decentraland or even Sandbox, there's a report which is actually published by Yahoo Finance that does actually state that virtual lands in these top metaverses have seen a depreciation of around 90% from the peak prices in 2022. Now Snoop Dogg, boxers and a lot of celebrity influencers definitely pumped up these plots, but unfortunately guys, the prices did actually go down. And guys, if you look at investor sentiment, I very specifically remember in the second quarter of 2023, I did release a Metaverse Everything podcast, and in that I specifically mentioned that investor did lose 90% in the metaverse space. Now that was more to do because of cryptocurrencies that did actually go down because of the Terra Luna collapse and also because of the FTX collapse as well, isn't it? So to answer this big question, guys, is the metaverse dead? At this point of time, it does look like, and there's a recent article which has been published by CNBC that actually states that the sale of VR headset and augmented reality glasses in the US have actually plummeted nearly 40% in 2023. And this data, guys, that CNBC has published is based on the data which is published by a research firm called Cirana. And Facebook or Meta, guys, has contributed to burn through billions of dollars a quarter developing the metaverse, and the CEO Mark Zuckerberg still insists it's the future of his company. Now it's also important to note, guys, in final quarter of 2023, Meta did actually launch a new headset called as MetaQuest 3, and that did actually help the VR market over the holiday period, but it wasn't enough to make up for the rest of 2023. Now listen, guys, I hate to say it at this point of time, looks like we may have to write the obituary of Metaverse, and there is an interesting report which is actually published by VentureBeat, and what they're actually stating, guys, is that the US adults have yet to fully embrace the Metaverse, and the report takes into consideration a survey which is done by KPMG, and what that survey states is that 45% of respondents among the game developers were negative when it came to the metaverse. But there is some positive news, guys. Some of the investors actually state, as a matter of fact, 90% of the investors do actually predict that the metaverse is the next phase of the internet. Now listen, guys, in Dubai, right now there is a $1 billion summit that is taking place, and I did read an article which actually states that one of the influencers does actually feel that by 2025 is when we are going to see mainstream adoption of metaverse. To be honest, guys, I definitely disagree to it, and later on towards the end of the episode, I'll definitely go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion and revisit the timeline for mainstream adoption of metaverse. Now listen, guys, there is some hope that could actually drive mainstream adoption of metaverse, and it is none other than a tech giant called as Apple. And last year, guys, Apple did actually unveil Apple Vision Pro in its developer conference. The headset is finally set to launch on the 2nd of February, and the booking does actually start in a week's time, on the 19th of January to be precise. And listen, guys, Apple Vision Pro does actually blend digital content with your physical space, and Tim Cook, guys, he's not a massive advocate of using the word metaverse, rather he's actually calling it augmented reality, but looks like this particular headset is not necessarily for daily consumers because it does have a hefty tag of $3,500, and most likely, guys, it is catered for industrial metaverse, isn't it? Now, one of the most important thing regarding this headset is to remember, guys, is that this is the first major new product by Apple in almost a decade, and they are doing it quite smartly, to be honest. Rather than having a bulk sale, they plan to release only somewhere between 60,000 to 80,000 units, and looks like the idea is pretty simple. Limited supply is equals to more demand, isn't it? And based on the feedback, most likely they might go ahead and launch new headset. Now, so far as the Apple device is concerned, guys, Apple actually sells over 220 million devices. So imagine from 220 million devices down to only 60,000 units. Looks like they have definitely gone ahead and done their research. Now listen, guys, if you're a developer or trying to build something in the metaverse, what I think of is somehow, some way you can build a decentralized app that is connected to Apple Vision Pro, there's definitely a massive area of opportunity. So go to the Apple Provision website, and they do have a section where they can actually go ahead and assist you as well. The other area I can think of, guys, is let's say if you've invested heavy plots of land in Decentraland, maybe you can try to build something in Decentraland which can be accessed with Apple Vision Pro as well. But to be honest, guys, I really am not sure what the use case would be. But the biggest area I do think where people can actually benefit by this, if let's say if you were to create an app or dApp where stable coins can be connected to Apple Pay, that would be a brilliant use case. Now really I'm not sure if Apple Pay will be willing to go ahead and accept a stable coin, let's say like Circle USDC or even USDT, because they have their own Apple Pay as well, isn't it? But definitely an area worth looking into. But listen, guys, at a macro level, what I think what Apple can actually do is they can definitely have the US presidential debate being broadcasted in Apple Vision Pro. That'll be a brilliant marketing move, to be honest. So imagine President Donald Trump and Joe Biden doing a debate in the metaverse. Now for them, they don't have to do anything. But for users, we'll have to go out and buy these headsets. Then the interaction will be something really unique, isn't it? But more importantly, guys, it'll do some really good marketing. Now the big question, guys, is with Apple getting into Metaverse. And also guys, I was reading to an article which is published by KPMG. My biggest worry is, will the Metaverse be completely woke? Because in the article which is published by KPMG, they're actually stating that one of the opportunity is to focus on DI results, that is DEI, that is diversity, equity and inclusion. Personally guys, that looks like a woke mentality, and I'm hoping that thing does not get carried forward into Metaverse. As a matter of fact guys, if you go to the Apple Vision Pro website, you would know what I'm talking about. And if you go to MetaQuest Instagram account as well, the whole notion go woke, go broke definitely seems applicable. Now here's the interesting bit guys, with the launch of Apple Vision Pro, could it be possible for cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse be pumped up? I'm pretty much sure guys, we'll definitely be seeing similar news, and some cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse will definitely try to attach this news to their protocol, so it's going to be really interesting to see how the narrative develops. Now listen guys, so far as cryptocurrency is concerned, one of the biggest events that did actually take place few days ago, as a matter of fact on the 10th of January 2024, was the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETP, and most likely guys, we might see a positive sentiment in the next coming weeks. Now if there is a positive sentiment in the cryptocurrency market, what that would actually mean is that there will be more investments pooling into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and because of that guys, I'm pretty much sure cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that are connected to Metaverse will definitely see a pump up in the volume. So I wouldn't be surprised if the price of let's say ICP, Stacks or STX, Render, Axie Infinity and the Sandbox definitely pumps up in the next coming weeks, maybe doubles or maybe even triples in the next coming weeks. So it's definitely an area to look at the investments flowing into cryptocurrencies. And listen guys, in my Crypto and Coffee 88 podcast, what I'm noticing is, because of news surrounding Bitcoin Spot ETF approval, I've been noticing a lot of news regarding Metaverse as well, and that's precisely the reason why I've gone and decided to go ahead and release this episode as well. Now look guys, here's the interesting bit. Because a spot Bitcoin ETF has been approved, it more or less guarantees that an Ethereum ETF is going to be approved as well, and all of the cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols that I mentioned earlier are actually launched on Ethereum. And I'm pretty much sure guys, 90% of decentralized apps that are built on Ethereum will definitely see a pump in price. Now mind you guys, I'm only talking about decentralized apps that are directly or indirectly connected to Metaverse. They should definitely see a significant pump, isn't it? Now what are your thoughts guys? Do you agree to it or disagree to it? Mention them in the comments below. And to be honest guys, I wouldn't be surprised, because of news surrounding Ethereum ETF application, a lot of the decentralized apps might actually switch from Solana to Ethereum, from Binance to Ethereum as well, so definitely worth keeping an eye on. Now guys, the next thing that I'd very briefly like to touch base upon is Meta's role in Metaverse. And to be honest guys, the moment Facebook changed its name from Facebook to Meta, what I noticed in LinkedIn is that everyone became experts in Metaverse literally overnight. Now look guys, Meta is a massive advocate of Metaverse, so let me just very briefly touch base on what is it that they did in 2023 and what is it that we can expect in 2024. Now in late 2022 guys, Meta did go ahead and launch MetaQuest Pro, which was an expensive device to be honest, but in last quarter of 2023, they did go ahead and launch MetaQuest 3, and if I'm not mistaken guys, Meta did have a partnership with UFC as well, where users can actually go ahead and watch UFC using the devices, but to be honest guys, the reviews weren't that great. Now listen guys, if you go to Google and type in Meta's role in Metaverse, you'll see that Meta is making quite a lot of losses, isn't it? Now that news guys need not be necessarily true, so what I'd really recommend you to do is go to Meta's website and read through the official call earnings report. And what they actually said in October guys is that the digital ad revenue did actually go up by 25%, and the net revenue did actually rise by 164%. So everyone bashing Meta for the losses, the information need not be correct. So look at the earning calls report, and to be honest guys, you'll be completely surprised. Now that thing being said guys, Mark Zuckerberg does actually want to pivot from Meta to artificial intelligence, and from a business point of view, it does make quite a lot of sense. Now that thing being said, they're definitely adamant, and to be honest guys, Mark Zuckerberg's vision on Metaverse is on a long-term horizon, so he's definitely looking at Metaverse in a decade's time from now. And to be honest guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Meta eventually is the leader in Metaverse as well. So those are my honest thoughts, to be honest. Now guys, let me discuss a report which is published by PwC that talks about the potential of Metaverse in GCC worth $15 billion. So in that report guys, they actually talk about 7 blocks. So what they're talking about is number one, the use case. They're talking about engagement, metaverse type, digital assets, functionalities, technology, and regulation. Now what I've done is, guys, I've sent them an email and I'm requesting the guys who actually wrote the article to be on my podcast. And if they do agree, I'm going to go ahead and ask them in-depth questions regarding this. So hopefully they agree, so I'll go ahead and ask where did they get the information from. To be honest, I do not 100% agree to it, but the report is extremely compact and comprehensive, and the report does actually state about industries that will be impacted most by the metaverse. And surprisingly, guys, they've actually mentioned travel and tourism as number one. But based on a report which is actually published by Mark Zuckerberg's sister, dating is the number one app, but that most likely has success and in the near future will have success in the metaverse. So I definitely would like to question them about that as well. And the second one, guys, they have actually said is gaming, followed by retail and commerce, banking and financial. But listen, guys, so far as banking and financial is concerned, what I have particularly noticed is in UAE, banks were extremely proactive in adapting to metaverse. To be honest, guys, that does not make any sense by having a bank in the metaverse. And what a lot of them are not realizing, guys, is just switching current existing systems to metaverse will not cut it. The user experience has to be 10 times better. Now, so far as the industry is concerned, the list is followed by real estate, government services, another. The one thing I do have to say, guys, the United Arab Emirates government is definitely proactive in adopting to new technologies, and the Dubai police, they have gone ahead and launched 2 series of NFTs. And later on, guys, when I'm going to be discussing top 5 news from Dubai, DEWA, that is Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, they have aggressively adopted metaverse as well. So I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that. Now what that report stresses, guys, is that $15 billion worth of potential is going to be contributed in the GCC. And the number one, guys, is no surprise, is Saudi Arabia, followed by the United Arab Emirates. The number 3rd is Qatar. The number 4th is Kuwait, Oman, and followed by Bahrain. And guys, I finally mentioned 6 ways to seize the opportunity in the metaverse, mostly to do with GCC region. And the first one they're stressing about is imagining the possibilities, and they've gone ahead and given their reasoning. Now what I'd really like to do is, guys, when I have an interview with them, maybe a panel discussion, I'd like to talk more about these points. And the second one, guys, they've talked about identifying relevant business use cases for piloting the projects. The third one is build a robust digital infrastructure. The fourth one, guys, which I have mixed reaction to be honest, is about getting on the ball with blockchain technology. Because look, guys, me personally, I don't think blockchain technology is an ideal fit in the metaverse. Even cryptocurrency is not an ideal fit in the metaverse. Rather, I hate to say it, central bank digital currency will be an ideal fit in the metaverse. And when you talk about metaverse, I hate to say it, guys, a centralized entity will offer a much better user experience in comparison to, let's say, a decentralized or a distributed blockchain. The fifth point they have mentioned is get smarter about data. And finally, guys, make cybersecurity a priority. So what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, read through that report, and hopefully, guys, if they agree to the session, I'll definitely go ahead and ask more information about them. Now, guys, the next thing what I'd like to quickly do is I'll just like to quickly very touch base on the timeline of metaverse. And this whole notion of metaverse did actually go back to 1992 when Neil Stephenson did actually term the word metaverse in his iconic scientific novel called A Snow Crash. Now fast forward to 2012, guys, is when Oculus Rift did actually raise $2.4 million, and that did create a lot of buzz. But here's the interesting bit, guys. So far as augmented reality and virtual reality is concerned, it did actually launch well over 5 decades ago in 1968. But the term augmented reality, guys, was actually termed in 1990 by Boeing researcher Tim Cordell. So definitely worth taking a trip back in time, isn't it? Now in 2015, guys, there was massive hype surrounding metaverse in mainstream media such as BBC and Washington Post, guys, did actually use it live in one of the broadcasts. And in 2017, guys, HTC, Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and even Sony did actually go ahead and start making their play in metaverse. And Samsung, guys, they also actually launched a VR headset called as Gear VR, and I personally had that, and to be honest, guys, the quality was absolutely brilliant and amazing, and the price was really cheap as well. Now the big hype did actually take place, guys, in 2021, and the hype surrounding metaverse did make experts in LinkedIn overnight. Now if you were to ask me, guys, what was the root cause of it, It goes back to the artwork which was actually sold for $69 million, and I'm talking about the Beeple artwork. And the user who actually purchased it was Meta Cohen, and he used to talk quite a lot about Metaverse. And fun fact, guys, he did actually reside in Dubai for a very long time. He actually grew up in Dubai as well, and because of that, guys, there was so much hype regarding Metaverse, and Facebook did decide to go ahead and change its name from Facebook to Meta. And in 2022, guys, Apple did go ahead and make an announcement that they're going to go ahead and launch the headset. Now look, guys, in 2024, on the 2nd of February to be precise, Apple is officially going to be launching its Apple Vision Pro device. So it looks like mainstream adoption of Metaverse is still there. But what I genuinely feel, guys, when we talk about Metaverse, the user experience has to be 10 times better. And we are talking about Metaverse to definitely go ahead and replace your mobile phones. Why would you want to use your mobile phone, guys, when you have a 10x better user experience in the Metaverse? And I personally feel that most likely that would actually happen by 2030 or 2040. And guys, listen, I hate to say it, unfortunately, cryptocurrency and blockchain technology may not be an ideal form of payment, but central bank digital currency will be an ideal form of payment, and CBDCs, guys, in a decade's time could potentially go mainstream as well. And by that time, we might have better hardware devices that focuses on virtual reality and mixed reality as well. And hopefully by 2030 and beyond, the Metaverse experience captures all the 5 senses as well. That, to be honest, is the only use case of Metaverse. So those are some macro level news, guys, on the Metaverse world. Now let's look at top 5 Metaverse news from around the world. And the first news, guys, has to do a project from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia called as Equilum. And Equilum, guys, is Neom's subterranean Metaverse community in Saudi Arabia. And it is the latest addition to Neom's ongoing regional development in northwest Saudi Arabia. And the striking new project, guys, nestles discreetly with a 450-meter high mountain range, along with the Gulf of Aqaba coastline, revealing an experiential and subterranean digitized economy subsumed in the Metaverse. It's going to be really interesting to see, guys, how the actual experience is, and I cannot stress the fact the experience in Metaverse has to be 10 times better than what you're currently experiencing, let's say in the mobile phone or even on the laptop. Just switching things to Metaverse will absolutely need not cut it. Now, guys, the second news is an unfortunate news, and that is to do with sexual assault in the Metaverse. And guys, listen, in a groundbreaking inquiry, UK authorities are investigating the first ever case of a digital persona being sexually assaulted by a group of adult men with an immersive video game. And what did unfortunately happen is, the girl was only 16 years old and underage, and looks like her avatar was attacked by virtual strangers. Absolutely spooky, scary and sad news, isn't it? And the police are actually saying that the young girl has been traumatized as though she was physically violated, suffering to psychological and emotional trauma, something similar to what happens in the real world. Absolutely sad and unfortunate news. Now the third news, guys, has to do with a celebrity called as Olivia Rodrigo, and she's the latest star to dip her toes into the world of Metaverse, and she's actually following the likes of Ariana Grande, The Weeknd, and even older music legends like Cher and Sir Elton John as well. She did actually have a performance in Roblox. Now really I'm not sure if Roblox is still categorized as Metaverse. It is just a virtual world, isn't it? It does not tackle the 5 senses, so really I'm not sure if this news does actually belong in the Metaverse. Because listen, guys, I've said this, just switching current existing systems into the virtual world will not cut it. The new user experience has to be 10 times better than what we are currently experiencing. As a matter of fact, guys, when I'm going to be talking news from Dubai, one of the news is something similar, and that has to do with Robbie Williams' performance, so I'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that. Now the fourth news, guys, has to do with industrial Metaverse, and the leading giant Siemens. They have introduced partnership with Sony, Amazon Web Services and Microsoft, and they are expected to lay the foundation of industrial Metaverse with the immersive reality it brings for industrial and other users. So definitely powerful news. And look, guys, when you talk about industrial use case, you can talk about cargo, you can talk about pilots being trained, you can also talk about it being used for military purposes as well. So use case of industrial Metaverse is absolutely massive, isn't it? Now the fifth news, guys, has to do with India, and Sandbox has partnered with CoinDCX, and they're planning to make entry into India, and they want it to be its largest market. And guys, a joint venture between Brink, which is a global venture accelerator, and the Sandbox was actually announced last year in February 2023. That did actually lead to the creation of BharatBox, which is a cultural metaverse hub for India that encompasses Bollywood, that is India's famous Hindi cinema industry as well. Now look, guys, it's really important to understand that when you talk about metaverse, a lot of developed nations unfortunately are not too keen about Metaverse, but rather developing countries, they are quite keen on Metaverse. These are factors that we need to take into consideration as well. So developing countries like India, let's say Turkey, Vietnam, they're definitely excited by news regarding Metaverse. But developed countries, let's say like US, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, they don't seem to be as keen on the Metaverse, but the investments are definitely flowing in from these developed countries. So these are things that we need to be aware of as well. Now guys, let's look at the top 5 Metaverse news from Dubai. Now listen guys, it's really important to note that all of these news I've actually covered it in my Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast. So if you do want to get detailed explanation, what I'd really recommend you to do is listen to my Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast, because here I'm just going to read out the summary of it. And the first news guys, as I mentioned earlier, has to do with Dubai Electricity and Water Authority. And using the Metaverse technology guys, the center provides a unique experience that allows visitors to go on a virtual tour of the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park, which is the largest single solar park in the world based on the independent power producer, that is IPP model. And the second news guys is something which I did actually cover in the last 2 weeks, that is to do with CNjoy. And this is to do with CNjoy Tech Limited, and they did actually host a diverse virtual environment ranging from bustling digital cityscapes to serene, nature-inspired landscapes, and users guys did actually experience a level of immersion and interaction that transcended the boundaries of the present digital world. So what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, listen to my Crypto and Coffee at 8 episode, so you'll get in-depth information on what is it that CNjoy did in the world of Metaverse. Now the third news guys is a very important news that was actually released in October 2023, and I did cover this in my Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast as well, that talks about Metaverse initiatives. And look guys, Dubai as a city is definitely taking leaps and bounds, not just in the Metaverse space, but also in artificial intelligence space, cryptocurrency and blockchain space as well. Now regarding Metaverse guys, Hamdan bin Mohammed did actually launch 3 initiatives as part of Dubai Metaverse strategy, including Metaverse Alliance, Metaverse Guidelines, and Metaverse Pioneers as well. Now listen guys, I do have a standalone episode called as Dubai Metaverse Strategy, so please feel free to go and check that thing out as well. Because in that episode I went ahead and discussed the motivation to go ahead and launch the Dubai Metaverse strategy, who are the key people involved, and in 2022 guys, Dubai did have a Dubai Metaverse Assembly, which was if not one of the biggest events of as Metaverse is concerned. And guys, I do have an interview with the person who did actually go ahead and arrange that event, and her name is Richa Patil. She's the CEO and founder of Meta Decrypt, so please feel free to go ahead and check it out. And what I'm going to be doing guys is, in the show notes below, you'll get a list of all the episodes that I've released. Now the fourth news guys has to do with a company called Everdome, and to be honest guys, in the Metaverse space in Dubai, I might have covered them at least 6 to 8 times, and this news has to do with spaces. And the news essentially is that Dubai-based Metaverse project called as Everdome unveiled Spaces, which is the release of the new Metaverse as a Service product line, which aims to make the Metaverse more accessible for everyone. So definitely go ahead and check it out. Now the fifth and final news guys for today has to do with Robbie Williams in the Metaverse. And Robbie Williams guys did actually announce a Metaverse concept in which Williams will perform in a virtual reality city as part of a partnership with British online platform called as Light Cycle, and he's doing that for his 25th anniversary show. And guys, if you go to the Light Cycle website, it does actually state that in Q2 of this year is when his first Metaverse concert will be officially launched. So it's going to be really interesting to see guys if that is in Roblox, but I'm hoping we can get to see it in Apple Vision Pro, or rather competing virtual reality, augmented reality or mixed reality headsets. So those were the news guys on Metaverse Everything. And in case if you guys have any feedback or suggestion guys, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxp.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And guys, listen, if you like listening to this podcast or want to join as a sponsor for the Metaverse Everything podcast, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com, follow this podcast, give it a like and share the word across as well. And guys, remember, Monday to Thursdays I have Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast as well that talks more about cryptocurrency world. And in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast guys, we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And how the series under the Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other 2 news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And guys, in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast Monday to Thursdays, I have an Ask Me Anything series as well, where we go out and answer questions from the cryptocurrency and blockchain world. And guys, what you're listening to right now is the Metaverse Everything podcast, where we focus on content related to Metaverse purely from an educational point of view, and we focus on news and updates and also technological updates as well. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a brilliant weekend ahead as well. Bye bye.